Welcome to the World Savvy Challenge Judge Training for our in-person regional competitions. The purpose of this video is to discuss the competition, what you can expect throughout the day, and how the student presentations will be judged at this event. We have two in-person events taking place this year. The Twin Cities Regional Competition will take place on March 3rd at Macalester College, and the Bay Area Regional Competition will take place on March 17th at San Francisco State University. Hundreds of students will come to these venues to share their research and solutions to some of the world's most pressing issues relating to sustainability. Students will range in age from 6th to 12th grade and cover a wide variety of topics, including climate change, energy, waste, economic development, and education. For many of them, this will be the first time they have done a live presentation, so they will be both excited and nervous about this opportunity. Whether you are in Minnesota or California, Challenge Day schedules are essentially the same. Judge registration begins at 8 a.m. Breakfast and lunch will be provided, and we will have plenty of coffee throughout the day. When you register, you will receive a folder containing a detailed schedule of where you need to be and when you need to be there, a map of the campus, assessment rubrics for each presentation you will be viewing, a copy of the Action Roundtable materials that students will be using, and a judge survey asking for feedback about your experience. It is nice to get there early so that you have time to review your schedule and familiarize yourself with a map. Plus, breakfast is a great time to meet other judges and talk about the day. At around 8:45, we will conduct a brief refresher about judge duties and answer any questions that you might have. Opening ceremony begins at 9 a.m. Student presentations will take place from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and a closing ceremony will begin around 3 p.m. Your attendance is optional at both the opening and closing ceremonies, but we do certainly hope you will join us. There are two ways in which students can present their information. The first is a performance. The performance is a creative presentation of their research and solutions. We encourage students to be creative, so the format will vary from presentation to presentation, but could include a news broadcast, television show, press conference, game show, really anything they like, as long as they are clearly presenting their research and solutions. Performances should be well rehearsed and lines should be memorized. Team members should clearly understand their roles, make eye contact with judges in the audience, and speak loudly and clearly when delivering their lines. Multiple forms of media may be incorporated into the performance, such as video, music, images, props. However, these things should enhance the presentation, not dominate or distract from it. And it is important to note that these things are not required. Creativity is wonderful and important, but as a judge, remember that even the most creative presentation will fall flat if it is not supported by solid evidence. For those of you that have participated as a judge in the past, teams will no longer present twice. Each team will present only once in front of one panel of judges. The second presentation format from which students can choose is the exhibit. This is a visual representation of their research and solutions, and much like the performance, students have creative license to choose whatever format they think will best complement their topic. Some take the form of trifold posters, others will be sculptures or original pieces of art. Multiple forms of media may be incorporated into the exhibits, such as video, music, and images. However, these things should be used thoughtfully and enhance the presentation and not distract from it. For those of you that have participated as a judge in the past, this is not the same as a solution showcase. In the past, teams have done a performance and also created a visual presentation of just their solutions. This year, teams will choose to do either a performance or an exhibit, and the exhibit will contain information about their research and their solutions. World Savvy has created detailed grading rubrics that you will use to judge each presentation. The rubrics will focus your attention on 5 areas: content, skills, presentation, the knowledge to action plan, and the bibliography. I'm going to take some time to run through the rubrics now, but please keep in mind that all rubrics can be found on our website, so you are free to examine them whenever you would like. The first area is content. For this part of the rubric, we are asking you to pay attention to the information and understanding that students demonstrate during their presentation. Do they have an understanding of the theme of sustainable communities, and does their topic directly relate? Do they present multiple perspectives on their topic, or do they only focus on one perspective? Do they make connections between what is currently happening and what has happened in the past? Are they looking at this problem from a global perspective, so in at least 2 countries, or have they only focused on one country? And finally, have they presented comprehensive solutions at the local, national, and global level? The next area is skills. For this section, you will be evaluating students' ability to work as a team, communicate their information clearly, and think critically and creatively about their topic. Some of these things will be clearly demonstrated during the presentation, such as whether their information is presented in a way that is easy to follow and understand, and do they present their own thoughts along with current thinking. And for a performance, does everyone know their roles and have a clear understanding of what they should be doing? Other things will come out during the question and answer session, such as how teams divided up their work, and do they all seem to have an equal understanding of the project. Unlike the other sections in the rubric, this section is slightly different for exhibits than it is for performance. That being said, they are still measuring the way in which students are presenting their information. Is it of high quality? Are the materials they use neat and carefully put together? Or does it look like something that was just thrown together? Do they clearly lay out their information in a way that is easy to understand and follow? And is their presentation creative and engaging for the audience? The final sections of the rubric are the Knowledge to Action Plan and the Annotated Bibliography. The Knowledge to Action Plan is when students think of how they can personally take action on the problem they have identified. The purpose of this process is to teach them about informed action. So once they know the ins and outs of a problem, they are able to think critically and creatively about the types of action that will yield the best results. Keeping that in mind, you will be assessing whether or not their plan is feasible and if they have made a clear connection between the problem and their course of action. For the annotated bibliography, you will be examining the quality and diversity of the sources they have used. Annotations of about 3 sentences in length should accompany each source and explain how they used this source and why it was helpful. We have left it up to teachers to decide what style the bibliographies will be in, so please keep in mind that you are not judging the format of their bibliography. Here is a snapshot of what the rubrics look like, and you can see all of them by following this link. The rubrics that you will find in your judge folder on Challenge Day will have the information at the top filled in, so all you need to do is fill in your scores. For each presentation that you score, you will have an opportunity to speak with the students. For the exhibit, students will be present during judging and available afterwards for questions. As you do this, please remember a few important things. Focus on the process. For example, why did you choose this topic? How were the responsibilities divided up? Why did you choose this format? What resources were particularly helpful to you? We want students to have been thinking critically and carefully about their choices, and these types of questions get to the heart of that. Also, this should be a positive experience for students. This is not the time for criticisms of any kind. All scoring sheets will be collected and given to teachers. So if you have constructive criticism that you think students should hear, please write them down on your score sheet and let the teachers discuss it with them. Finally, do not debate with the students. You may not agree with the arguments that they are presenting, but the Q&A is not the time to engage in a debate. In addition to the student presentations that you will see, you will also participate in a collaborative problem-solving exercise called an Action Roundtable. The way this works is that new teams are formed with students from other schools. They will be presented with profiles of real-world organizations that are working within the realm of sustainability. You will sit down with students and listen to them for 30 minutes as they discuss the merits of each organization and agree on which one should receive a grant. There will be a room proctor that keeps track of time. At the end of 30 minutes, the students will present their decision to you and you will have the opportunity to ask them some questions. High-scoring teams will be recognized at the award ceremony. Again, please remember to stick to process questions. Why did they choose one organization over the other? Was this final decision in line with their original choice? And if not, what made them change their mind? Similar to the Q&A after presentations, This is not a time for you to interject your opinions, but rather encourage students to examine this process and the choices they just made. The assessment rubric for this activity looks very similar to the presentation rubrics that you will be using, albeit with some different focuses. For knowledge, do they demonstrate a general understanding of the theme, and are they able to see multiple perspectives on this issue? For skills, can they effectively communicate their ideas? How well do they work together to complete this task? And did they think carefully about all the issues as they made their decision? For values and attitudes, were they comfortable with the knowledge that there was no right answer? And were they open to new ideas? And finally, for behaviors, did they form opinions based on evidence? Thank you so much for your participation in this event. We truly could not provide students with this experience if it were not for dedicated community members like you. Just a few things to remember before Challenge Day. Please be sure to be on time. While parking is available at our challenge sites, it can take some time to find a space, so please account for parking and traffic. As I mentioned earlier, schedules are detailed and personalized for each judge. If you are no longer able to participate as a judge, we ask that you give us 2 weeks' notice, so we have time to find a replacement and reorganize the schedules. Also, please complete the evaluation survey that will be found in your judge folder. Your feedback about the day and your experience is very valuable to us. And finally, we hope you have fun. There is a wonderful energy on Challenge Day, and it is inspiring to see how students are tackling these important problems. We hope you enjoy yourselves. You should have received a link for a judge quiz. This is simply a few brief questions to make sure you have an understanding of what you will be doing on Challenge Day. Please complete this quiz by February 20th. Thank you in advance for your cooperation. And if you have any questions at all, please contact KK Nyman in the Minnesota office or Taylor Watson in the California office. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you on Challenge Day.